Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hey, welcome to another broadcast today. I know some of y'all celebrate Labor Day, some of y'all don't. But me particularly, I don't really celebrate any, Eurocentric holidays. But today, as y'all can see on the thumbnail, I have a special broadcast today, and this one is kind of near and dear to me. Uh, I don't know what's going on. You got a lot of background noise over there.
Sorry.
All right, but yeah, we have a special broadcast today. So if y'all can see on the thumbnail, I do have the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about the water crisis going on in Jackson, Mississippi today, and it's a lot of foolishness that's going on down there that I really want to jump on and discuss. And I really didn't want to talk about the situation unless I had, get someone that was actually living in the city to discuss the issues that's going on in Jackson because even with me being from Mississippi, I wasn't born and raised in Jackson. So I want to, get someone on here that was born and raised, that's currently living in Jackson to discuss this water issue that we have going on in Jackson. And Keila, welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the Black Empowerment with the YouTube channel. Introduce yourself. Let the people know a little bit about you and how what you do down in Jackson.
Hello, Kentu. I am Akila Watson, aka Kentu's cousin. And in all seriousness, I hi BEM movement. But yeah, in all seriousness, I take to heart very seriously the things that Curran has found necessary that we discuss. I wouldn't discuss my, I guess you could say, opinion on any other platform outside of my cousins because I think a lot of talk is what's the problem and the solutions are yet to be found. And so I hope that by expressing the concern, we can then find the solution.
Yeah,
Um,
and just to give people a background, so people that's across the country that's watching, I just want to play a quick snippet of what's going on. It's probably like a 5-8 minute video to give a little background information. So I'm gonna play this little quick video real fast to give the people an idea of what's going on. Let's see here.
He made the stark announcement that the water system in the capital city of Jackson had failed, there was someone notably absent from the dais, the Democratic mayor of Jackson. Local news outlets later reported that he had not been invited to the governor's news conference. And although the mayor has since argued that both the city and the state are working together, it seems quite apparent that there is a disconnect between state and local leadership. And that breakdown could not come at a worse time. The water crisis facing Jackson comes at a point in which the city is already grappling with a dire set of circumstances. 1 in 4 residents live in poverty. And in some of the hardest hit parts of Jackson, the average household makes just $25,000 a year. In some cases, affected households are pulling in just $15,000 annually. Since the year 2000, the annual median household income in Jackson has dropped about $6,500, which amounts to a whopping 15%. Meanwhile, these are the residents who are being asked to keep afloat a water infrastructure system that is in some areas more than 100 years old. The city is very plainly dealing with an eroded and shrinking tax base, as well as a crumbling water system. And here is how the state has responded. The governor famously vetoed a bipartisan bill that would have helped both poor people in Jackson pay their water bills while also helping the city collect much needed water revenue. He did so because he was concerned about giving the impression that, quote, the government has free money floating around to pay for all of these things. In addition, the state legislature killed a bill that would have allowed Jackson to raise a city sales tax by 1% in order to help pay for much needed sewer repairs. That bill was tanked after the Republican House Speaker publicly expressed his doubt about the measure, saying that it created a dangerous precedent for other cities in the state. This sort of inaction is indicative of how the state has dealt with Jackson's decades-long water problem. And now the city is grappling with yet another period of acute crisis, one that is affecting nearly every part of daily life. Joining us now is Mississippi Congressman Benny Thompson, who represents a large part of Jackson. He is also chairman of the January 6th committee. And we should note that Congressman Thompson was the only member of Mississippi's entire House delegation to vote for the federal infrastructure bill that brought badly needed funds to his state. Congressman Thompson, thank you for being here tonight. I am sorry on behalf of the rest of America that this is happening to the city of Jackson. It is a crisis and it is inexcusable. Can you first enlighten us as to what the Republican-led legislature has done vis-a-vis Jackson's problems? It just seems, at least on the outside looking in, that they have not done as much as they could have to help the people of Jackson maintain and upgrade the infrastructure they so badly need.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Alex. Jackson, Mississippi is the capital city of the state of Mississippi. Government, it's the seat of government for our state. When you come to our capital city, it's very historic. But like a lot of big cities, the population is predominantly minority. And
guys, if y'all hear that, that's the key point right there. As he's talking right now, for a lot of you guys that may or may not know, Jackson, Mississippi is 83% Black. He said minority, but that just keep it real. He's talking about Black people. It's 83% Black in this capital city, and
mayor and city council is predominantly minority, and they have to look for opportunities to keep the city afloat. Everything you outline in your monologue before you introduce me is what most cities in our state do when they need to generate revenue. It's just that every time the city of Jackson would put forth similar methods, that always be another issue. And so it's disheartening for a person like me who vote to bring money to my state that desperately need it, and see Republican elected officials do just the opposite of what the money.
And I want to pause it right there. And Keela, I don't know if you're still there. Akila. I think I lost Akila, but I want to pause it right there because he mentioned an important part right there. He mentioned that, as you know, he's like a state representative, and Jackson, part of Jackson is part of, you know, what he represents. And basically what he's saying is he always vote to bring some type of federal money into the state, into his district, to help with infrastructure. So basically what he's saying is, regardless of all the things he vote and the things he do to try to bring money into the district that he represents, the back end, the more conservative Republicans in the state always blocking him from bringing money to the Black part of the state. So keep that in mind, guys. Let's let it roll some more.
Were intended to do. We need help. Our water system is antiquated. There's no doubt about it. In order to do it and get it right, we have to have help. President Biden, as you know, signed a disaster declaration that will help us tremendously, but it won't fix the entire problem. The perception that federal, state, and local people are working together, that's not true. Everything that you see without me representing Jackson or without the mayor who's elected in Jackson is true. Our governor decides to do things on his own, which is unfortunate. We helped get the disaster declaration because it's the right thing to do. So we want our governor to say, look, Mayor Lumumba, Congressman Thompson, we'll sit down and work this out together. I'm optimistic with this declaration. It requires cooperation. So if we're going to ask for FEMA's help, FEMA will be at the table saying, look, the cavalry is here. Help is here. Now let's get this done.
Chairman, I got to ask you, this is a problem that we see happening in majority Black cities all over the country, whether it's Flint, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's Washington, D.C., whether it's Jackson. And we have in your state a white Republican-led state house, many of whom the most powerful members live outside of the city. This isn't their problem. I mean, do you feel like this is the legacy of structural racism? How do you look at this, and how do you look at the color lines, which so clearly inform these crises?
And I'm gonna pause it there too. Even though this is MSNBC, I know they always talk against conservative and Republicans, but I gotta give it to them on this. She is absolutely right. This is a form of environmental racism. What's going on in Jackson is very environmental racism against the city of Jackson, because it's a majority Black city. So basically, these white folks in Jackson are basically playing by any means necessary to get what they want. And right now, we can only speculate what they're wanting, but from the things of they really want to run the Black people out of the inner city of Jackson by any means, by poisoning the water, whatever it got to take. They want the people out of that city so they can bring infrastructure back and have a booming, thriving inner city in Jackson with white people. They can go back and they can go in there and gentrify and do whatever they want, but they don't want to do any of that until they get the Black people out of there. And Akila, I don't know if you're there. I see you still in. I don't know, you having troubles over there. Akila, can you hear me? I want to get your take on it. Think I lost Akila. Let me remove her out. Hopefully she can jump back in. But yeah, so I wanted to I just wanted to discuss that, because that's what it seemed like the play is, guys. The play seemed like they really trying to get Black people out of there. You got this congressman, this state congressman. He's trying to bring funds into the city. He's trying to bring money into the state to help the state capital. Jackson, Mississippi, just not any old city in Mississippi. It is the state capital. And now that's where the governor house is at. But I guarantee you, the governor house not having issues with water. If I was a bad man, I would say, yeah, his water is perfectly fine in the governor house. So this is people, they are playing by no rules. The only rule they know is what is the end game. Everything is justified long as they can get the end game. And as we can see, that is what's going on right now. Let's let it roll some more.
Well, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. I don't know of any white-run city that's a capital city that's being treated like Jackson, Mississippi is. We can fix it, but we need our Republican elected officials who have been receiving the largest of the federal money coming from Washington to grow their cities. Their highways are better. Their water systems are better. The entire infrastructure of the suburban communities are being developed at the expense of the inner city. They use the inner city's population to get the money, and then they spend the money in the suburbs. And so what's happening here with Jackson now?
Y'all hear the game? Y'all hear the game? And trust me, this is a blueprint that a lot of cities are going to do. They watch it. All the other places, special places that have majority Black people in it, they are watching Jackson, Mississippi right now. You heard what he's saying. He's telling you what their playbook is. They're using the population of the inner city, which is the Black people, to get money to come in. And then when that money comes in, they funnel it all to the outskirts, suburban cities outside of the the inner city or where the black people are at. They get that money. They use the population of Jackson, but then they get that money. They use it for improving the infrastructure of cities around Jackson. You know, man, I wish Akila was. I think she had some technical issues. She in the country part of Mississippi. I would love to get her take on that. But I lost her. Man, I'm gonna see if I can try to get her back on because I really want to get her take on what he just mentioned as well. But that's the game right there, guys. They basically use the population of every city to get money and funds because the suburban towns they don't have the population like the city. Like Jackson is a population of maybe like 150 to 175,000. Okay, hold on, guys. Let me get Akila back on. All right, we lost you. We lost you there for a minute, Akila.
I'm back. I know I had a signal area. I'm out here actually invading Mississippi, your home stomping ground, with
Yeah,
one of the aunties for their little get together. They just need a reason to get together.
yeah. Okay, okay.
So
So,
yeah, I'm
so,
outside, but I
so,
hope I got good service
did
now.
you hear did you hear a little bit of the video that was played?
Come on, I saw it live. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. We can't even watch our regular programming channels because this is news briefing and live all day. I,
Okay.
yeah.
So I got the video paused for a night. Yeah, so give me your take. Like, what do you think what is going on? What is your honest opinion of why this is going on in your city?
Okay, so let me just say that this whole crisis is not, it's a crisis level now, but this is a epidemic of something that's been going on for a very long time. Being born in 87, I have heard rumors and just things about Jackson water system for a very long time. I remember our former governor Harvey Johnson had did I don't remember what it was, it may have been a press conference or something, and he joked about the citizens of Jackson having to go back to the water well days and pitch water, blah 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 blah. And he said it like in a serious manner, but it caught my attention as a child because I
Mm,
remember hearing stories of my grandparents tell me that those that have went bathing and on my mom's side that's actually how they got their water. So it brought attention, and my mom's mom always has been telling us, y'all just stack up on water. Water don't expire. Whatever chance you get, just get plenty of water. And so it's not that this is something that's just like, whoa, the rain and the all this, they trying to say like the weather or whatever is causing this to happen. It's been happening. It's just my personal opinion that the time is now. Everything has its timing, and so the timing is now. Now the issue is we have a lot of political vices going on, and everybody wants the I guess crown for this or the victory dance for that or whatever, and we don't really get to the solution of the problem. We got governors and governor appeals who are aware of the situation before it reached crisis level, yet
hmm.
they offer private utility tanks and stuff to take care of their end of things. And then it's a district matter as well. Jackson is the capital of Mississippi, Mississippi being one of the most racist states still to this day in 2022. And so it goes back to, like you said, a thing where the it's been a systematic move of killing off a certain species or society of people, because that's why it hits in that area at the timing that it hit, when it was the early 70s and majority of the whites or whatever had taken over that area. It wasn't a big water crisis, and so as black migrants have moved and have dominated certain areas, that's the area where but it's bigger than water curving. It's the school system. I personally have two kids, and I've been blessed because I saw the school system failing a long time ago. I left the school system in 2004 5,
Hmm.
and I saw a change when I had children and they were entering into the school system in 2010 and 11. And I mean, it was so change difference. It was just like, you know that the time is here. And so I moved to a different county and was blessed to be able to put my children in a different system. And so we're not on the same water supply. We're not in the same school system, but that doesn't take away having the only option is being able to move, because there is no solution in the city that can fix this. And those like myself who are proud to be from Jackson, who never thought of moving to Atlanta and all these other states where everybody
Yeah,
want to go, I visit all the time. I come see you guys, but I'm ready to go home. And so
yeah,
Jackson for me is home, and I love it. And even the county that I'm in is right next door to Jackson, because I still got to be close to Jackson. I mean, I can talk about it in such a passionate way, but all jokes aside, it's a crisis now. I'm happy that it's a crisis now. I'm sitting here in the
Yeah.
country now chilling, just, you know what I'm saying, in the midst of it, because it needs to happen. And maybe it needs to be on a crisis level for us to finally find or get the real resources that we need, because we need something bigger than just the city itself can handle.
Let me ask you this now. I know you mentioned something about the school district. Are the kids in school right now with this crisis going on?
Unfortunately, Jackson Public Schools, a lot of the surrounding areas, they are home. So we're back, even, you know, at COVID all over again. They're back home, home with no
Because
water.
of the water.
Right. And so you talk about
Wow.
COVID when you at home and at least you got water, they did food, and we safe. We just stuck in the
Yeah.
house bored. We stuck in the house and still waiting on water to be delivered or picked up or whatever. You know, I work in the Jackson area. I work with 80% of my clientele is senior citizens in the Jackson area, and some of them I still visit. And I visited a few last week, and one lady was explaining to me that she put her undergarments in the sink with a bottle, a jug full of water, because she doesn't trust that. She saw that when she washed some white clothes through her washing machine, the water was still, you know, coming through the same line, so it was dirty. And she decided, hey, it'd be better for me to just, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's oh my God. So the kids gotta be home, and not on top of that, they gotta be home where they don't even have water to do anything with to survive. So it's just all type of fuckery all around overall.
All around.
So it's crazy. It's
And
crazy.
with no explanation or nothing to the city to say, hey, here's the blueprint or the here's what we spent our money on, and this is why we're struggling with getting this, and this is why we're there. Now we see the problem because the plant system is operating off some 3,000 old tank and this, that, and the other. Okay, well, it wasn't, the infrastructure wasn't upgraded like it was supposed to when it was supposed to. So how do we move on now? You know, it's so many reasons and problems, but the bottom line is, even with if you've been following, you heard that we had a company, Siemens, who had owned it for a while or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah, y'all won the lawsuit, but it
and won
wasn't
the
enough
lawsuit.
money though. It
Yep.
was like only like you got like 14 million, but they saying the fix the water
It was
crisis
more
in
than
Jackson,
8.8 something million. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna take 2 billion to fix the water problem.
So I heard, and I heard also it's because you got to renovate and move some of the Black Americans around too, because certain places you got to go underground and do certain things or whatever. So that'll cause people to, you know, relocate out of their homes. And sometimes, you know, it's an argument when the budget comes to African American areas that need certain movement and renovations, you know, versus other areas. It could be funded and we could go ahead and get it fixed, and we could get it done. So the fight that we have, and that's why I tell you all the time that I love you for your passion and your fight as Black Americans, is so true. And it's so time for everybody to wake up and see that it's bigger, because the solutions are available. They're somewhere. You know, because this doesn't happen in
Yeah,
other places and stuff. So we just have to get
exactly.
to the solutions. We have to get beyond our back and forth pettiness and who want the crown today and all that, and just get to it, because that lady over there is suffering, and that could have been your mama or somebody. Don't do that.
Exactly. So
Yeah, it's
who
just,
in the city have good water? Like what the governor mentioned? Like who having the hospital? Who got
yeah, you
good
know,
water?
the army is in town, the Navy SEALs and stuff are in town. There are certain people that have been designated to certain areas to equip emergency officials. Of course, the hospitals are going to be equipped. Of course, the governor who has continued, and the mayor and things that continuously have to, you know, in lieu of JSU winning this
Yeah,
weekend, you know, and stuff. We had officials that would stay downtown, and we needed to get stuff done. And so, yeah, there is in place, but it's temporary, Kurt. It's
yeah,
temporary.
yeah.
And the
That,
people that don't have that temporary relief, even with the millionaires that we have living in the state who have connections and access to do whatever, that are not just suffering like those at the bottom. We have to get to a point where we care enough to get the permanent solution, not just the temporary until it passes over and is no longer a topic and we move on to the next crisis in America or whatever.
wow. And real quick, Tequila, I'm gonna play the. I mean, hold on. Let me play a little bit of this video again. Don't go anywhere this time now. Hold on. Let me
Go
play
ahead.
a little more of this video. Hold on.
Now, is the mayor's struggling. The mayor of Jackson is struggling because the resources that he so desperately need, and the 150,000+ individuals in the city who also need it, that money is going to the suburbs. That's not how it should go. And I actually shared that with the president today, that if monies are being sent to states and those monies are not going to the neediest of the people, we have to clear it up. It's not right. And so we're going to work with the governor. I look forward to meeting with him in person. The conference calls are one thing, but you have to meet an individual across the table, eye to eye, and work it out. So we are struggling in Jackson. We have been on a boil water alert for over a month.
Yes.
Now we have some quality issues in our city where our schools are not open, they're virtual.
Yes.
And so our governor, with the help of the federal government, we can get this done. But you can't use a double standard for Jackson. What's good for the suburbs is good for Jackson.
For the city.
We don't have to have a difference.
Wow, and I want to pause it there real quick as well and read this chat. So, show enough Al, man, that's a great point. Yeah, let me read his comment real fast. Most of these issues are orchestrated by elements in the government to gain control. We have the current administration sending billions over to Ukraine, yet the infrastructure in this country is falling apart. The globalist agenda is moving forward under the current administration. Show enough Al, I totally agree, but they doing this to Black people, that's a great point. I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to talk on that a little bit right now. So, like you said, show enough Al, thanks for the comment. I hope you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, guys, before I go in, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Black Empowerment Movement, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Akila, stop going away. I want to add you into the discussion. You keep going away. But what Show Enough Al said, guys, is very true, because he was talking about they sent all this money over to Ukraine people that's not even part of the country. They're not U.S. citizens. They sending 200. Joe Biden is sending 200 million, 300 million. And don't even get me started, people. Don't even get me started on the people that they sent all the illegal immigrants to New York City to stay in a 5-star hotel. I wish I had the numbers of how much money they spending on those immigrants in New York City to stay in those hotels, but they spending millions and millions of dollars on immigrants that live in hotels, living in 5-star hotels, where they can't even put money into the city of Jackson. You got illegal immigrants, they're not even U.S. citizens, to live in 5-star hotels in New York City. Just let that sink in for a while, people. And then they sent $300-400 million over to the Ukraine people to fight their war. And they also spending money on bringing Ukraine people over here. But when it's time to put money into helping Black people that built this country, they don't have no money. They can't even give us drinking water back in Mississippi, but they can give millions of people in Ukraine. They can get millions of Mexican immigrants in New York City to stay in the top 5-star hotels, and they get illegal immigrants. They're not even citizens. They got all this money for everybody else, but they don't have no money for folks in Jackson, Mississippi to have drinking water, to bathe and cook and shower with. People, let that sink in. They telling you in your face, regardless of they Democrat or Republican, these people do not care about your Black ass. They don't. They'll come and act like they want to love on you when it's time to get a vote, i.e. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Oh, come vote for me. Oh, I'm the president for the Black people. But when it's time, when the rubber hit the road, you see where they Black people, where they white asses at. They ain't nowhere to be found to help out. So that was a great point. We got money for everybody else that's not like us. They're not even citizens, but we see what's the game plan is. Keela, what you got? What you want to say on that?
I'm just gonna say you own it, cousin. You own it. Continue to bring highlights to what's really going on. That's what's been winning. I know when it comes to like police brutality and racism with the police department, we've been able to get some resolutions with that, but it's due to the media and the highlighting things. So continue to do that. Those of us that are in the jungle will continue to survive, to thrive, to live, to tell the story the next day. I guess you could say, because I'm laughing about it because what did you want me to do? But
Yeah. So what would you feel like a solution would be? Like we got the Republican Party, the governor of Mississippi, they blocking funding. You got Benny Thompson, he trying to bring money in, the mayor trying to do his thing. Like overall, what do you feel like people need to do? Because at the end of the day, we just can't sit around and wait for these people to get along and decide, hey, we're gonna give you money. We already see they dragging their asses. So what do people need to do to make they put some fire on their ass? What do you feel like needs to be done?
stay resilient. Stay resilient. Don't give up. I'm gonna always tell you that my solution to everything is FAITH. That's my personal solution. And faith without works is dead. And so we out here, we working. And when I say we, I mean the city of Jackson. I've been blessed to come into connections with a lot of the city officials around Jackson. And so they are working. And so your work will not go in vain. The smallest of mustard seeds will prevail. And that's my solution for today, Kerwin. You
Yeah.
understand me? Because we're in the fight. You never let your left hand know what your right hand gonna do. My solution today is to be resilient, to not
Mm-hmm.
give up, and to keep all faith. The time is what it is. I said it in the beginning. It's timing. And speaking of
Yeah.
time, I'm running out. My battery low. My people around me won't be quiet. It is what it is.
All right, then. Well, hey, thank you for jumping on. I really do appreciate it. We needed that
Not for
perspective
real.
from
For
somebody
real.
from Jackson.
Listen, I don't want to cut you off. I'm losing signal and stuff. I'm telling you, I'm with my aunts, my dad, and everybody in Jackson. They do have like she wanted me to mention they have the FEMA number and stuff that has come in, and they're delivering water to individuals. Our resources and connections that come through my hand, my church is involved. The organizations that are connected through my church is involved, and so the availability for us to not suffer in the midst of the water problem is here. And so now let's get to the solution of finding the permanent solution for this not to happen anymore. We all right for now. I'm telling you this because I understand you're highlighting it as a crisis. Like they brought the water, they've got the FEMA numbers and all that, and we do that all the time, and then it dies down. And the permanent solution never really gets done. So keep highlighting it so that we don't forget
Mm-hmm.
what's really need to be taken care of. The permanent solution. Don't get me started. I tell the kids that all the time. The temporary is okay. What's the permanent?
Yeah, they keep trying to put a band-aid on the bullet wound,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so is
Mm-hmm.
it any information you want to give before you go where people can get help or relief or anything? Any information you want to give out?
Yes. Go to New Horizon Church International's Facebook page. There are phone numbers and links there where you can find and call and give numbers. I'll also post the FEMA number to my Facebook page, which is Akila Watson, same as indicated on the screen. And
Okay.
so, yeah, continue to watch the news. The news is reporting live because we're not getting none of our local broadcasting services. The AT said the other day she can't watch her soap operas. So yeah, the news is informative as well for that. For that.
Yeah, for that, yeah.
Yeah,
All
for
right, well,
that.
go and enjoy your day down in the hometown. Get to see everyone, go visit. Talk to
Right.
everybody, love on
Right.
everyone. All right,
Get
then
some
I'll talk to
vegetables.
you then. You take care now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye bye. So yeah, guys, that's what you have going on. This is my take. What needs to be done. And to be honest, I don't really know what needs to be done. I'm just shooting off the top of my head right now. Usually I have a script. I'm just going off the dome today with this issue because this is crazy. But people need to organize. When stuff like this happen, the black people in the community need to organize. You know what? For that matter of fact, all the black people in the state of Mississippi need to organize. All the black people in the state of Mississippi need to organize. This just not a Jackson, Mississippi thing. Everybody that's black in that state or in the surrounding cities, everybody that's black, they need to be organizing and putting a strategy together to help the people in the state of in Jackson, Mississippi. It's not a Jackson problem. You know, if you in that state of Mississippi right now, you know, you should be organizing with somebody in the city of Jackson. Y'all need to come together, organize. That's why things like this can prevail and keep going on, because we're not organizing, we're not strategizing. We gotta get together, people. We gotta get together. The whole state of Mississippi needs to be rallying around the people in Jackson, Mississippi right now. We should be like this is war, guys. This is war. What these people are doing is warfare. It ain't nothing else. They are playing a nasty game where the end justify the means. So, guys, we got to get on it. It's serious. White supremacy don't take no days off. They don't. White supremacists do not take any days off. We can't keep thinking that these people haven't spread this ideology down to their kids and their grandkids. They have. And we seen it. It's 2022 in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, and they still playing a nasty game out there, guys. So we got to organize and strategize. The black people in Jackson, black people in all the surrounding cities in Jackson, black people in the whole state of Mississippi, everybody needs to be pulling resources, coming together and getting this taken care of, because they playing a nasty game and we trying to play the straight and narrow game. We gotta sometimes we gotta color outside the lines too to get some things done, folks. So all I want to say, people in Mississippi, my black people, organize. Please get together with your people and organize and strategize. That we can get this done, because it's gonna take the people. The people, like, if the people organize and come together, you can always win. You can always win when you organize. So that's my thing. That's my thing right there. But I just really want to get on here and talk about it, because I've been seeing it and a lot of things going on. I just been busy. I haven't been able to go live. But today, you know, I have a little free time. So, but guys, if you know someone in Mississippi, reach out to them. You know, if you in Mississippi and you know somebody in Jackson, reach out to them, make sure they good. But at the end of the day, start thinking of a game plan, start strategizing. You know, even if you're watching outside of Mississippi, you know, hey, reach out to some folks back home. It's gonna take all of us. It's gonna take all of us, because what's going on in Jackson can go on in any other majority black city. Like, they study a blueprint. Once they see a blueprint works, they incorporate that blueprint in other areas. So we gotta stand firm in Jackson. So even if you outside of Mississippi, we gotta strategize with our brothers and sisters over there. But I'm about to go, guys. Before I go, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching on Facebook, go to the YouTube channel, Black Empowerment Movement. That's the YouTube channel, man. The channel has been growing. Thank you guys for continuing to subscribe. Remember to like the videos. Hey, leave a comment. You know, I try to reply to all comments. So please, you know, keep helping us grow the YouTube channel so I can keep having that energy to come bring and, you know, talk about topics like this today. If you catching this at the tail end, you know, go back and watch it, you know, from the beginning. But also remember to share and subscribe. But I'm about to go, guys, and as always, all power to the people. I'm out of here.